Hello, my dear friend. Welcome to VUS Learning English podcast. My name is Anna, and I am so happy you are here with me today. Today, we are going to talk about something very special. It is a secret that changed my life, and I believe it can change your life too. It is about finding your confidence. It is about speaking in a way that makes people listen. Not because you are loud, but because you are real. Thank you for choosing to be here today. Your time is precious, and I am grateful you are sharing it with me. If you enjoy our time together, please tap the like button. It is a small click for you, but it helps our podcast grow and reach more learners like you. I would love to know where you are listening from. Are you in India, Mexico, Ethiopia, or Indonesia? Let me know in the comments. It makes me so happy to see our family from all over the world. Okay, are you ready? Let's begin. I want to tell you a story about me. It was a few years ago. I was standing in a big room, a conference room. My heart was beating so fast, like a drum. I had just finished a big presentation. I thought I did a great job, a perfect job. I worked for weeks on it, day and night. My slides were full of information, so many charts, so much data. I used the biggest, most difficult words I knew. I wanted to show everyone how smart I was. I wanted to impress my boss. I wanted to impress the big leaders in the company. I wanted them to think, wow, Anna is so smart. We need her. I wanted to feel indispensable, like they could not live without me. But when I finished my talk, the room was quiet. So quiet. It was not a good quiet. It was a bad quiet. You know the good quiet? When people are thinking hard about your amazing idea. This was not that. This was the what just happened kind of quiet. A confused quiet. People were looking at their papers. They were not looking at me. They would not meet my eyes. In the next few days, I learned the truth. No one understood my presentation. None of my ideas were used. The project stopped. And me? My reputation? The thing I worked so hard to build? It felt like it was breaking into tiny pieces. I felt terrible. I was so sad. I put my whole heart into that presentation. I used big words and confusing pictures. I tried so hard to impress them, but I did not impress them. I just confused them. I made them feel distant. I had failed completely. About a week later, my boss called me to his office. Oh no, I thought I was going to be fired. My stomach felt sick. He sat in his big chair. He looked at me for a long time. A very long time. Then he said something that shocked me. Something I will never forget. He said, "You are trying too hard to sound smart. You have great ideas, but nobody can understand them. Stop trying to impress people and just talk to them." Wow. Those words hit me like a wave. It hurt to hear that. I felt so embarrassed. But it was the start of a huge change in my life. That one conversation started a new journey for me. A journey to learn how to really communicate, how to connect with people. On that journey, I discovered 4 secrets, 4 simple ideas. These ideas did not just make my presentations better. They changed my whole career, my whole life. And today I want to share these 4 secrets with you because I know they can help you too. They can help you become a person who speaks with confidence, a person who people respect and listen to. The first secret is the most important one. It is the gift my boss gave me that day. Stop trying to impress people. Start trying to inform people. For a long time, I believed a lie. I thought if I used complex words, I would sound smart. I thought if my slides were full of data, I would look like an expert. It is a trap many people fall into. We use big words. We use special job-related words called jargon. We think it makes us look professional. But it does not. It just builds a wall between you and your audience. Think about it. When you know something very well, it is easy for you. You forget what it is like to not know it. You assume everyone has the same information as you. This is a big mistake. When you use technical words, your audience gets lost. They do not feel impressed. They feel confused and maybe a little stupid. And nobody likes to feel stupid. It does not make you look smart. It makes you look like you do not understand your audience. It can even make you look a little arrogant. And here is the deep secret: the need to impress other people. It usually comes from feeling insecure inside, a fear that your ideas are not good enough on their own. So you dress them up in fancy clothes, fancy words, and fancy charts. But good ideas do not need fancy clothes. Good ideas need to be clear. My terrible presentation was the perfect example. I had one slide. I was so proud of it. It was a huge, complicated chart. It had 12 different kinds of marketing. It had so many numbers and colors. I thought it was a work of art. I thought it was brilliant. But it was not brilliant. It was just a mess. It was a spreadsheet trying to be a slide. It hurt to look at. It made no sense to anyone, except me, because I had lived with that data for 3 weeks. For everyone else, it was just noise. A few months later, I had to give another presentation. It was about a similar topic, but this time I was different. I remembered my boss's words. Just talk to them. So I started by thinking about my audience. Who were they? They were not data experts. They were leaders. They needed to make one simple decision. Where should we spend our money next? They did not need to see all the numbers. They needed to understand the story the numbers were telling. So I deleted the confusing chart. I threw it away. And I started with a simple story, a metaphor. I said, imagine our marketing money is a fishing boat. We have 12 different fishing spots in the ocean. For a long time, we have been sending our boat to one spot. It is called the Trade Show Reef. We go there because we always go there. It feels safe. And we always catch some fish there. But the data shows a problem. The fish at this reef are very small. And it costs a lot of fuel to go there and catch them. Now, there is another spot in the ocean. It's called the podcast stream. We have mostly ignored this spot. We only sent one tiny boat there just to test. But guess what happened? Every single fish we caught there was a big one. Huge fish. They were healthy and strong, and they were worth 5 times more money. And the best part? It cost us almost nothing to fish there. So my recommendation is simple. We need to stop wasting our money at the expensive reef with the small fish. And we need to move our boat to the wonderful stream with the big fish. The reaction this time was completely different. It was like night and day. People were nodding their heads. They were leaning forward. They were engaged. Instead of confused silence, I got smart questions. They were not asking me, what do these numbers mean? They were asking, how fast can we move our boat to the podcast stream? And is it risky to leave the old reef? Do you see the difference? I stopped trying to show them how smart I was. I only focused on what they needed to know. I made the idea simple, clear, easy to understand. That is the first secret. Your job is not to show off your brain. Your job is to move an idea from your head to their heads. And the best way to do that is to make it simple. Simplicity is not for beginners. Simplicity is for masters. Making a complex idea simple is a sign of true intelligence. So, before your next meeting, your next conversation, ask yourself this question. Am I trying to impress or am I trying to inform? The answer will change everything. So, you have a simple, clear message. That is step 1. Amazing. Now you need to deliver that message. And what is your most important tool? It is not your computer. It is not your slides. It is your voice. I used to think my words were everything. I thought if my message was good, how I said it did not matter. I was so wrong. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you say it in a flat, boring voice, nobody will listen. The idea will die. Your voice is the music that carries your words. How you play that music changes how people feel. It changes everything. Think about a boring voice, a monotone voice. Monotone means one tone. No up, no down, just one flat line. A flat voice is predictable, and our brains do not like predictable things for long. Our brains hear that flat sound and think, oh, this is not important. I can sleep now. A monotone voice is like a lullaby for grown-ups. It tells the brain it is safe to turn off and save energy. But a dynamic voice, a voice that changes, that goes up and down, fast and slow, loud and soft. That kind of voice keeps the brain awake. It keeps the brain hooked. A dynamic voice signals that something is important. It shows emotion. It makes you sound more confident, more believable. This is not about being a famous actor on a stage. This is about using the simple tools you have right now to add color and feeling to your words. Let's break it down into 4 simple parts. First is pitch. Pitch is how high or low your voice is. When we are nervous, our voice often gets higher. It can sound a little weak or anxious. If your voice is always low, it can sound boring. The secret is to change it. Use variety. Use a little higher pitch when you're sharing something exciting, like the big fish in our story. Then, drop your pitch lower to say something serious, to emphasize a key point. When I said, we need to move our fleet, I made my voice a little lower. This signals Listen. This is the bottom line. The second part is pace. Pace is your speed, how fast or slow you talk. The secret again is variety. Change your speed on purpose. Speed up a little when you are telling an exciting part of a story. Then, slow right down before you say the most important sentence. That pause is so powerful. It is a little moment of silence. It creates suspense. It is like a big flashing sign that says, pay attention, the important part is coming. Third, we have volume. Volume is how loud or quiet you are. This is not just about being loud enough for people to hear you. It is about using volume to create a feeling. You can lean in and speak very quietly, almost like a whisper. This makes people lean in too. It creates a feeling of intimacy, a secret between you and them. It makes them pay closer attention. Then you can raise your volume to show confidence, to show passion, especially when you are calling people to action. And finally, the fourth part. This one is so important. It is tone and inflection. Tone is the emotion in your voice. Your tone tells the audience how to feel about your words. Is this news exciting? Is it sad? Is it funny? Is it serious? Your voice tells them. Inflection is the music inside a sentence. It is how you stress certain words to change the meaning. It is what makes you sound like a human, not a robot. Learning to use your voice is not about faking it. It is not about becoming a different person. It is about learning to use your own instrument with intention, with purpose. Your voice can be a wall or it can be a bridge. When you learn to control your pitch, pace, volume, and tone, you do not just give information, you create an experience for your listener. You connect. So we have a simple message, and we have a powerful voice to deliver it. What is next? For a long, long time, I believed another lie. I would watch great speakers, people who were so confident and charismatic on stage, and I would think they were born that way. It's a gift from God. Some people just have it, and I don't. This belief was so unhelpful. It was an excuse to not try. If I was not a natural, then what could I do? Nothing. It was not my fault. But this is one of the biggest myths about public speaking. Speaking with confidence is not a gift. It is a skill. And let me say that again. It is a skill, not a gift. And like any skill, like playing the piano, or cooking a delicious meal, or learning a new language, it can be learned. It can be developed through practice. But not just any practice, not just repeating your speech over and over. It is a special kind of practice. Psychologists have a name for it, but we can call it practice with a plan. Practice with a plan is not just doing something again and again. It is a focused, smart effort to get better. It has a few steps. First, you set a small, specific goal, not be a better speaker. That is too big. A goal like, I want to stop saying so much. Second, you practice with total focus. Third, you get feedback. You see how you did. Fourth, you think about the feedback and you try again. A little different this time. This is how you truly improve. After my big failure, I started to take this seriously. I stopped wishing I was a better speaker, and I started training like an athlete. Here is what I did, and it is what you can start doing today. First, I bought a cheap stand for my phone, a tripod, and I started recording myself speaking. My friend, this is the hardest thing you can do, and it is the most effective thing you can do. The first time you watch a video of yourself, you will probably want to cry or hide. You will see every mistake. Every time you say, every strange look on your face. Every time you move your hands in a weird way. This is normal. Everyone feels this way. The goal is not to feel good. The goal is to get information, to see the truth. You cannot fix a problem if you do not know the problem exists. The video is your honest teacher. Second, I focused on one thing at a time. After I watched my first video, I had a list of 20 things I hated. I looked down too much. I said, all the time. My shoulders were hunched forward. If you try to fix 20 things at once, you will fix nothing. You will feel overwhelmed and you will quit. So I picked just one thing. Filler words. Words like like. For one whole week, my only goal was to reduce my ums. That's it. I would practice by giving a short 2-minute talk to my phone camera about anything. My day, my dog, my lunch. Then I would watch it, and I would count the ums. The first time I had 17 ums in 2 minutes. 17! It was shocking. But now I had a number, a starting point. I did it again. This time when I felt an coming, I forced myself to just be silent, to pause. It felt so strange. That silence felt like forever. But when I watched the video back, the count went down from 17 to 10. By the end of the week, I could speak for 2 minutes with only 1 or 2 ums. I was not a perfect speaker, but I was better. I had improved one small skill, and I had proof. The next week, my goal was eye contact. I practiced looking right into the little camera lens on my phone. The week after that, my goal was vocal variety, using my pitch and pace. Week after week, I added one new skill, like building with blocks. One block on top of another. This process builds muscle memory. Your body learns how to do it without thinking. You cannot just think your way to being a good speaker. You have to do it. Your body has to learn the feeling of confidence. This cycle of practice, feedback, and trying again, it changes your brain. It builds new pathways. It is not always fun. It can feel silly to talk to an empty room, but it is the only thing that works. It is the real secret to getting good at anything. So please stop telling yourself, I'm not a good public speaker. That is a story. It is a story that keeps you small. It is a story that lets you off the hook. You are not a finished thing. You are a work in progress. We all are. And with steady, focused practice with a plan, you can build the skill of speaking. You can build the confidence you have always dreamed of. Okay, we are almost there. This is the last secret. Secret number 4. So you learn to make your message simple. You learn to use your voice like an instrument, and you are practicing your skills. You are becoming a much, much better speaker. This is amazing. But there is one more step, one final piece of the puzzle, and that piece is visibility. Visibility just means being seen and being heard. Having a wonderful idea is great. Communicating it well is also great. But it is all useless if no one hears your idea, or if they hear it one time and then they forget it. In the world of advertising, there is an old idea. Sometimes it is called the rule of 7. It is not a strict rule, but the idea is powerful. The idea is that a customer needs to see or hear a message many times before they will buy a product. Think about it. You see an ad for a new phone, you ignore it. You see it again on a website. You hear about it from a friend? Interesting. You see it one more time in a store. Okay, maybe I will check it out. Get out. This idea is not just for selling phones, it is for selling ideas. Your boss, your coworkers, your clients, they are all very busy. Their minds are full. They get hundreds of emails and messages every day. To expect them to hear your brilliant idea one time in one meeting, and to remember it, understand it, and act on it. That is not realistic. It is impossible. Repetition makes things familiar, and familiarity makes people feel comfortable. It builds trust. Being visible is not about being annoying. It is not about shouting, "Look at me." It is about being strategic. It is about making sure your good ideas do not get lost. Making sure your hard work does not disappear into the noise. There are 2 simple ways to do this. First, speak up early. And second, share your work widely. Let's talk about meetings. Some studies show something interesting. People who speak earlier in a conversation are often seen as more important to the group. When you speak up early, you help shape the conversation. You can help set the direction. Everyone who speaks after you is in a small way responding to what you started. For years, I was afraid to speak in meetings. I would wait and wait and wait for the perfect moment. I wanted to say the perfect thing. But by the time I was ready, the conversation was over. The group had moved on to a new topic. My brilliant idea was now useless. You do not have to say something brilliant. Get your voice in the room early. It can be a simple, clarifying question. Can you explain that one more time? Or, so the goal is X, is that right? This shows you are listening. It shows you are engaged. It makes you an active part of the team, and it makes it much easier to speak again later. Second, share your work widely and repeatedly. One presentation is never enough. You need to create many touch points for your idea. A touch point is just a moment when someone sees or hears your idea. So if you share a good idea in a meeting, follow up with a short email later that day. If you do a great analysis, share it in your team's chat group with a little note. Hey everyone, I found something interesting that might help us with Project X. Turn your one big presentation into 5 small updates. This is not spamming people. This is being helpful. This is keeping your valuable work alive and visible. The more you share your work in a helpful way, the more people start to connect you with that topic. You become the expert. You become the person they think of when they have a question about that thing. And the more you contribute in a thoughtful way, the more you get invited to the important meetings, the meetings where the big decisions are really made. Visibility is not about ego, it is about impact. It is the final step. It makes sure your great ideas do not just exist in your head. It makes sure they land in the world, that they stick, and that they make a real difference. When I look back at that young woman, standing at the back of that conference room, with her heart pounding and her face red, I do not feel embarrassed anymore. I feel grateful. I am grateful for that painful, humiliating failure because it was the wake-up call I needed. It forced me to change. I learned that trying to impress people is a game you can't win. It comes from fear, and all it does is create walls between you and other people. Real connection, real influence. It comes from a different place. It comes from the courage to be clear, not complex. It comes from learning to use the amazing instrument of your own voice. It comes from the discipline to practice, even when it feels silly. And it comes from the wisdom to make sure your good ideas are truly heard. Those are the 4 secrets that changed everything for me. 1. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to inform. 2. Master your voice. It is your most powerful tool. 3. Remember that speaking is a skill you can build. Practice with a plan. 4. Be visible. Share your ideas early and often. My dear friend, you do not need to have a big, painful failure to learn this. You can start today, right now. The next time you're in a meeting, or giving a presentation, or even just talking to a friend, take a deep breath. And remember the goal. The goal is not to prove how smart you are. The goal is to share what you know. The goal is to connect with the human beings in front of you. Stop performing and just start talking. You will be amazed at what happens when you do. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope this was helpful for you. Remember, learning a new skill takes time. Learning to be a confident speaker takes time. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. You are on a journey, and every small step is a victory. Keep going. If this episode helped you, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And please consider giving it a like or following our channel. It helps us so much. Thank you again for being here with me. It means the world. See you next time, my friend.